should be a nice continuation what Pedro just taught you, and it's also a continuation to what we have been doing in my classes so far. So we started from Jogo Largo, the wide plays. Yesterday we had a fairly big selection of the Retorno Espada plays, what to do in the close distance, and today this class will be a brief introduction to an exercise for how to enter Retorno Espada, how to do basic actions in Retorno Espada, and how to counter them. So it's going to be like a play or very simple conversation. So, Gonzalo here, and you come and assist. So, how we enter in Retorno Espada? We have the wide plate, we have been moving around, finding the moment, and then I find a good moment to enter Retorno Espada, to find my opponent's blade. Okay? So, we're not going to do the wide play now, we're just going to start by entering. But as long as you remember that it's not like this. I'm going to enter Retorno Espada now. No. So you do that wide play first to find your good moment to enter the range with in a moment that is your advantage. Because if I enter in a moment that is Gonzalo's advantage, like so, okay? But now we're going to cut it a bit shorter so the time is enough. True edge side, false edge side, two ways to enter. When we enter from the true edge side, I'm going to throw a cut, not to hurt, but something that Gonzalo will definitely have to receive. Because if I enter like this and you don't react, okay, fine. So I throw a cut, but not to the distance that would necessarily hit. So I'm going to leave it short. So I'm going to project the threat, force him to either cross the sword with me or get back like a coward. So, true edge. I'm going to throw command the cut here, gathering my feet, pointing my blade over his head, yep, and pointing my tip to the back shoulder. You should do the same, okay? So you mirror my action. A bit lower, like this. This is a neutral place for us, okay? If you try to thrust at me or something, I'm in a good place, yep, and so on. Of course, if I enter, I will have the tempo and I have the advantage of keeping attacking. But there is no rule that if I enter, if Gonzalo is very fast, he can take the tempo and start attacking. Yeah? So, true edge, like this. False edge, like this. Raise it with the false edge, surprise, but with the same principle. Over the head, but now I'm aiming for the front shoulder. Now, if you extend your arms a bit, yep. Now we are again in a fairly neutral place. If one of us start to do something, it will be easy for, feel and react to it. Okay? This is how you enter by the book, but we have to of course realize that in the book you are just teaching the basic concept of how to enter in Retorno Espada. Of course, any strike I make, I can find your blade with a thrust, and the same on this side, like we did yesterday with a thrust. It's the same thing as long as we enter in the proper manner. Make sense? Okay, now take your partner and practice entering from both sides a few times. Do it like this. I'm going to go first. Through edge, yep. Extend a bit. Okay, false edge. Like so. And then your partner does it, and you go back and forth. Last thing to remember, if Gonzalo enters true edge side, if I just stand here, like this, it's not going to be neutral, it's going to be his advantage. So when my opponent enters Retorno Espada, I'm going to have to do the same. Take the same line, because otherwise I will already be in his advantage. Yeah? Okay, practice for a bit, and then we go on. Thank you. He has the correct idea, we can continue. Where is Gonzalo? Yeah. You can't see shit from there. So, few important points. When we enter in Retorno Espada, it's not like if we struggle here. If I feel that my opponent is putting a lot of pressure, if you start to push, yeah. So here, so of course, very good place for us to enter, like Pedro just showed you. Also, when you go, make sure that it's in the middle. If somebody fucks up, let's say my opponent for some reason is already in my strong in Strettari Metsäspara, it's a free opening for me. So it needs to be in the middle. But this is of course the optimal situation. In a dynamic situation, things usually don't go as we want them to go. But of course, we should aim for the perfection and the proper technique by the rules. Yep. Now, next part. If I enter, I'm gonna step under my blade, throw reverse. Yep. Yes, find it first. Step under my blade, because in this moment I cannot do this, because I will get cut. Yep. So I'll hold my blade here until the last moment, and then Gonzalo will have the choice of parrying. Yep. So I'm gonna go find the blade, cut one, cut twice, you can parry, step back. From the left side, find it, cut, step back. Okay? This is the next exercise. The patient, if you come in from the Druid side, if you strike, if I don't move my leg, I might be in the bad place. So whenever I'm in the agent side, I should also move and move. Otherwise, I will be overwhelmed by my opponent's movement. Because the more he gets to strike, the worse time I will have. Yep. So do this. Next, take turns. Druid side, strike, strike, go back, full sets, strike, strike, get back. Rinse and repeat. Yeah, go. So, protecting your head while moving in Strettari Metsäspara, it's obviously very important because you are all the time in a striking distance. Yeah. So, if we have found the blade here, now, if I move, but I do it sloppy, my opponent can take the movement, oh fuck, and push down. It was shorter than I thought. Yeah. So, in this moment, you can just push down, maybe step forward a bit, and make me collapse. So, this would be one of the counters. Yeah. So, when we move in Strettari Metsäspara, I'm gonna have to keep my hands here because if you try to push now, I will be able to move behind my blade. We're not going to do this now, but just as an example, how to practice this moment, how can you come? So when I enter here, I will keep the sword like this. Okay, this is not what happens in a real fight, but it's a really good way to practice. So I keep my blade here, step around, and again, make the parry. Again, when I step, I keep the blade here. So I know and feel what is the correct place for the blade. Obviously, Strettari Metsäspara, it's not going to happen like this in the dynamic situations that the blades actually stay together. They will probably be close, but not together. This is only for you getting the feeling of where the blade should be. Yeah, makes sense? Okay, do a few more repeats and then we'll look something else. Jaime, you can actually Gonzalo, if you can come because you have the map. Yes, so when we are in Strettari Metsäspara, if I feel that my opponent is pushing really hard, of course it makes this easier. But also, if I feel that my opponent is pushing really hard, okay, you know where the blade is and you can go and grab it. Or if I feel that there's a push, do the stuff that Pedro showed me already. But this is beyond what we're going to do today. Now, another basic tool that we can use in Strettari Metsäspara to attack our opponent are the thrust through the high guard. If I enter in Druid side, okay, if I feel that Gonzalo is being a bit sloppy here, he's giving me the middle lines too easy, I turn my strong into his weak and push a thrust. Yep. So find it. Okay. Extend the thrust. Another option is that even if you are well in your guard and I do this, what's your reaction? Then we continue with the other cut. Same from the other side. I go here. If I feel that it's a bit sloppy here, I can turn in the guardia de crochet and push a thrust. So find it, turn, push a thrust. Or if I do the thrust, yep, and you of course will parry it, now step to the other side. Okay? So squall limiter strikes in an angle or the thrust through high guard are your two ways of attacking in the basic ways in Retorno Espada. Okay? Now, try this. First option. Thrust. Okay. And if you parry, strike, strike, get away. Or find Retorno Espada, strike, thrust. Okay? Try these options for a moment and then we'll again add something to the plate. Go! Thank you. So there was a question. If I enter Retorno Espada here, but my opponent is very strong in the guard, like this, yep? Of course I cannot trust him, but let's a bit less white, but still strong. So, like this. Of course, I cannot push this in. But, what other choices Gonzalo have than make sure that it doesn't land in his face when I do this? If you take your blade away, yes? So, he has to parry it in any case. So, this is a threat provocation. This, and you parry it. So I get to go to the other side. And if I enter, but I have entered in a nice manner, so maybe Gonzalo is a bit late or something, then this is an attack that you can try to push in. But in either case, he will have to defend against it. Yeah. So I'm bullying him again to one side, so I can strike the other side. Yeah. These are the basic things that we use in this exercise. Now, if Gonzalo goes to find Retorno Espada with me, okay, strike once, strike twice, and then you exit, and I'll exit, okay? This is the basic formation, and of course he can do the high guards too. But, now, the patient side, if Gonzalo enters, okay, and throws a strike, yeah, and I parry, and I can change who is being the agent and who is being the patient. Okay? Countering like this. And if this doesn't land, if you parry it, use the same tool and step away. So, with this counter, you can change who is being the attacker and who is being the defender. Obviously, this is a very simplified thing to do it, but in this manner, you get for one to realize that when it's time to parry and when it's time to attack. Most of the time you don't want to do things at the same time because that will end up in doubles and generally bad times. Okay? But if you sense your good timing, let's say you come from the fourth side, yep, and throw the cut here. Now, if I was fast here, I will have time to parry, strike, and get the distance. Okay? Now, with the next iteration of the exercise, the agent attacks, finds it, strikes 1, 2, and the patient will try to find a moment to parry and counter. Nothing more fancy than that. It doesn't it doesn't have to happen every time, but try to find the moment for it. And as this is an exercise, you will want to make it possible for your training partner to actually do it. Yeah? So give them space to do it. Make sense? Mm-hmm. One more thing, be a bit careful with your thrust when you counter, because if your opponent doesn't see it coming, it might land a bit hard. Make sense? Go. So this last few minutes, I think we have 10 or so to go. I will just explain more of this exercise and so show you something that wraps the thing up. So now we just use cuts that are descending and high thrust. Of course we have more options in Retorno Espada. If I go here, if you parry, cut, cut. Or if I go here, step here, cut the arms, if he parries, move, and so on. All cuts can be used here. Now, when we go into Retorno Espada, let's say I attack, going here, and I try to thrust you with the high thrust. If you parry high, like this, or even try this. Of course this will happen because neither of us will want to get hit, and you will want to attack at some point anyways. It will be fairly hard to hit your opponent, but also fairly hard to hit you, which is a very good thing, because you don't want to get hit. So you will have lots of exchanges that nobody gets hit, but this is a very good thing, okay, because you're safe. When you find the correct moment, or whatever situation, that you can land a hit without getting hit, that's what you're looking for. But most of the time, of course, it's just exchange, step away, maybe try again. Yeah. So, what we did yesterday, we're in Retorno Espada here. Okay, I try to strike. Maybe Gonzalo you can knock my blade here and throw a cut. Something like this. We end up closer. So maybe at this distance I don't want to try a cut anymore. But when we get closer here, we get to do the other stuff that we can do in the presa range. Okay? So all the stuff that we practiced yesterday, we can put into this exercise. This is just a framework how to get a dynamic situation of basic cuts, basic exchanges, and then you can choose one thing that you attempt to do. For example, okay, if you attack here, yeah, and you go here, maybe now I try to find a moment for this thing, okay? And you practice like this. The next step is that you practice like this, okay, attack. Now you go to do the waist cut, so you go this way and here and step behind me. This, okay? He's trying to do this. Now the next thing is when he tries to do this, go slow. Yep. When he goes behind me, I'm gonna do this. Okay? And then you work with this set and you try to find the correct moment to do it and find the correct moment to survive it. Of course, when you step behind me like this, move your feet like Pedro showed. So you have to be aware what can happen so you can, just deny your opponent. The funniest way, of course, is that when you make the waist cut for me, is this. If you want to be a dickhead, but you get the idea. You practice the counters in this like a limited manner. Use the framework, choose the technique, how to do it, how to counter it, and so on. Does it make sense? Because when we practice in a simple manner, we can concentrate what we want to learn. If we just go like a, let's spar, you will probably do what you want to do and what you're good at. But this manner you get to work specific things. Yeah, that's pretty much what we have time to look. The next thing would be to, okay, for one, do gioco largo and then find the measure and do stretta and then exit. One more thing that we can do is that, okay, if I attack here, yep, okay, maybe I see that shit, I'm in a bad position. What to do now? I don't want to throw another cut because maybe Gonzalo is ready already and he's gonna yeet me when I do my next action. So when I feel that, okay, I don't have the advantage, step away, start another attack. Yeah. So the exits are of course big parts of the Retorno Espada. Marozzo shows us false dritto as the exit, but also when we show right here, okay, and we parry, if I feel that it's my time to step away, I will do something like this, step away, or if we are here again, if you parry, I start to feel that, yep, it's time to go away, beat, take the distance, or go here, take the distance, you know. There's plenty of choices how to exit the measure, but it's as important as fighting in the measure, because sometimes you just feel that, yep, it's time to get back, think again, try something else. Oh yeah, and when we're in this distance here, sometimes you of course do the tricks, this stuff, but like I said, it's all in what we did yesterday. And all this stuff can found from the Marozzo's assaulty plays, but of course you have to first make small pieces of the plays and then put them together, so you have a framework how to practice them. Because if we only do the plays that the masters give us, we miss a lot of the basic language. The masters' plays are like sentences or stories, as they are, but if we want to speak the language, we first have to know what are the, basic alphabets. Yeah, good job. Thank you. Any questions?